What actually is gerrymandering and why is it even legal?
Oh, it's really quite clever. You see, we carve up a map into new districts to make sure that the party in power has a strong advantage the next time that people vote.
It just feels anti-democratic. We don't actually live in a democracy.
Oh. You can just ignore him.
Yeah. So you're not a politician?
Me? No. Politicians hire me. I'm a consultant who specializes in map optimization or data-driven district design. Gerrymandering has really become a story of technological advancement over the last few decades.
Of course it has. Everything is an industry now. If enough of us changed our voter registration, would that mess up your whole scam?
No. You're not as clever as we are. We use software.
Oh.
Software that tracks all sorts of information. Age, race, income, education, your internet history. We even track which primaries you've voted in the past.
Oh God, what? So you know how I'm gonna vote without even seeing my vote?
We don't actually need to know how you'll vote. What's more important is how the precinct that you're in will vote so we can pack and crack districts.
It just feels so anti-democratic. We don't actually live in a democracy.
I just hate that guy so much. Don't give him any attention.
I'm trying. Why are you even allowed to redraw the districts in the first place?
If you want to have fair elections, populations move and shift over time. So every 10 years or so, it is the lawmaker's responsibility to redraw those districts to make sure that people are represented fairly.
And you've just hijacked the whole process for your advantage.
Completely bastardized it. Yeah, no. In the past, districts were mainly redrawn to give districts roughly equal populations, like little gelatinous blobs on a map.
But as you started designing them for parties to win, they've kind of started looking more like spiders.
The spiders of democracy.
Isn't it pretty obvious then if you're looking at a map if it's been gerrymandered?
Yeah, but we are getting better and better at making districts look relatively normal while still voting how we want.
You know what I'm gonna say? We're a constitutional republic.
Shut up!
It's different. We are also a representative democracy. You can be two things at once, and we are both. Stop licking boots.
Let's say we live in a state with 1 million voters. Half of them are registered clowns, half of them are registered prison wardens. If we have 10 districts, this might be how you see the districts vote in a fair election.
But you don't want fair. You want your clients to win.
Exactamundo. Yeah, what I do is I pack the clowns down into a couple of districts while maximizing the number of districts that the wardens can win. Aren't you handing districts to your opponent then? If the clowns win 90% of the vote in the district, that's not actually any better than just getting 51%.
I'm not following.
All right, here. This is how districts might look after we pack and crack.
This is why you redraw the districts to cook the vote.
Do you see how when we shove the clowns into District 10, they have less voters in the other districts? So even with 50% of the vote, theoretically, the wardens could win the other 9 districts.
Why'd you say theoretically?
Well, if we try to win too many districts, our margins are going to get thinner, which means even a small shift in voters could actually hand the win to the clowns. That's called dummy-mandering. Here, realistically, in this situation, we're probably going to aim for like 7 or 8 districts.
Still insane.
So insane. Yeah, and we do so much other cool shit too, like kidnapping and hijacking and prison gerrymandering.
Do you mean like the representative that was kidnapped in Texas?
Listen, Texas is our bread and butter, but the Nicole Collier thing was weird. No, when we hijack a district, what we do is we move an incumbent's home into a district that is going to be really hard for them to win.
Because people have to run in their home district.
Yeah, it's smart.
It's something.
Kidnapping is when we take 2 incumbents' homes and wrap them up into one district so only one of them can run. Prison gerrymandering is when we count the population of a prison in a rural area,
which inflates representation for rural areas with people who can't even vote.
Not if they're felons.
You guys are sick.
The sickest.
There aren't any rules about this. It just seems like there should be rules about this.
Yeah, I mean, there are some rules around redistricting, like having roughly similar populations, being contiguous, things like that.
No, against gerrymandering. Like,
No spiders, or districts should have a similar composition of voters to the state. Well, the clowns tried to pass legislation stopping gerrymandering, but the wardens said no. And we just get to be stuck in this lovely race to the bottom. If you even want to call it a race, it's not really that fair. The wardens control redistricting for 191 House seats, while the clowns only control 71. Those are significantly different proportions than the makeup of voters in the United States. Yeah, I think it's pretty fair to say that the wardens have been doing this a lot more aggressively. Why do you need to know how precincts will vote if you're just going to redraw them? We aren't. Isn't that the whole point of gerrymandering? Strap in, sweet cheeks. Imagine that each of these states is a precinct, and the entire contiguous United States is actually one state that's been divided into 4 districts. Until we gerrymander it? In a second. Right now, the Northeast, the Midwest, the South, and the West Coast make up the 4 districts. Each district is made up of voting precincts, which will change in population over time. Right, and if it's been 10 years and we want to fairly redistrict, we need to make sure that the districts are roughly equal populations, they're contiguous, as in the whole district is touching, we can't discriminate against races, and also they need to be fairly simple shapes, all of which is up to interpretation. But for now, let's say there's been some slight migration between the precincts on the borders of the districts. So this is what it might look like if we were to redistrict fairly. Why didn't you redraw the borders? Because that's not really what gerrymandering is. Yes, precinct borders can be redrawn, but it's usually done by local officials. State-level gerrymandering is usually done when we shift precincts between districts. This is why you care more about how precincts will vote than individuals. Exactly, yes! If we had wanted to gerrymander, it might have looked something like this. The precincts are like Legos that we use to build out the districts to vote how we want. And whoever wins more districts wins the state. This is why we keep having terrible presidents. No, gerrymandering does not impact races like that. Wait, what? Why do we keep making such a big deal out of this then? When it comes to presidential, gubernatorial, Senate races, and sometimes state reform, those are usually based off of popular vote. You can redistrict all you want. That's not going to change the popular vote in the state. I don't get it. Why are you putting so much effort into this then? When it comes to the House of Representatives or state legislature and judges, those things are based off of districts. Gerrymandering has a really big impact on the federal House of Representatives and state level politics. And then those people get to redraw the maps too. Who can then hire me again. Okay. So why are Texas and California fighting right now? Well, Texas is doing some off-year redistricting, which they're saying is going to flip 5 of their seats in the House of Representatives from Democrat to Republican. The governor of California, Gavin Newsom, is saying in turn, if you're going to do that, then we're going to flip 5 of ours from Republican to Democrat. And are people happy or mad at Gavin Newsom for doing this? I mean, the responses are probably what you would expect. Texas is saying that what they're doing, despite not putting it up for a referendum, is democratic. They're also saying that what California is doing, who is putting it up for a vote, is unconstitutional. Meanwhile, on the left, they're kind of split down the middle. Half the people are saying, yes, someone is finally fighting for us. And the other half is distracted with, but he's not good enough. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.